In this video, I'm going to do a step-by-step tutorial on how to use the futures market on Mexc Global. If you're brand new to Mexc, I do have a step-by-step beginner tutorial, and I'll leave a link for that video in the description down below for anyone that might find that helpful. In this video, I'm going to get straight into the futures market. I'll show you how to transfer your assets from your spot account into your futures account. Then I'll show you the different market types and pairings and get you familiar with the user interface, where I'll show you how to go long or short using market orders, limit orders, and how to set up some stop losses. All of that and more with some tips and tricks along the way. If this is your first time signing up on Mexc Global, I left you a link in the description of this video as well as in the pinned comment down below. Mexc is often running promotions for people who are signing up for the first time, such as deposit bonuses, discounts on fees, and sometimes you even get entered into draws. Feel free to use that link when signing up to see what promotion might be available to you. This is not a sponsored video, and this video is not financial advice. This video is intended for educational purposes only. I also left you some timestamps in the description down below, so at any point feel free to skip ahead to a section that might be most relevant to you. If you end up getting some value out of this video, don't forget to leave me a like and hit subscribe. Let's get into the video. Before trading on the futures market, we'll have to transfer the assets from our spot account into our futures account. And there's no fees to do this because it's all done internally on the platform. If you're still brand new to Mexc and you need to deposit some crypto or buy crypto using fiat, I'll invite you to watch my step-by-step beginner tutorial where I cover all those things. In this video, I'm going to get straight into the futures market. So I'll leave a link for that beginner tutorial in the description down below for anyone that might find that helpful. Feel free to check out that video and then come on back and check this one out here. To transfer funds from our spot account into our futures account, we'll come right up here to the top right hand side of the screen and hover over wallets. Then from this drop down menu, we'll click where it says futures. On this page here, we can find the transfer button right over here on the right hand side. So we'll go ahead and just give that a click. Then you'll get this little pop-up window here where you can complete your transfer. Here we can see that I'm transferring from my spot account into my futures account. Right here, we can choose the coin that we wish to transfer in by simply clicking on this box. Then select the crypto from this drop-down menu that you wish to transfer in. If you're to transfer in any of these assets right here, you'd be looking to trade the inverse perpetual swaps. More about that here shortly. If you're going to be transferring in Tether, you'll be able to trade all the Tether pairings. For this tutorial, I'll just stick to Tether. Then down here, we'll choose an amount that we wish to transfer in. In this case here, I'll just transfer in my entire balance by clicking right here on all. And then click on transfer. Now I'm just going to come up here and refresh this page. And you can see right here that I've transferred the Tether into my futures account. Now I'm ready to trade any of the USDT pairings. When the time comes and you're ready to transfer your assets out of your futures account and back into your spot account, you just come right over here to your futures page, come down to the asset that you wish to transfer, and right over here on the right hand side, you'll find a transfer button. So in this case here, I'll click on the transfer button next to Tether. Then we'll get our little pop-up window again here, but you can see that it's still configured to transfer from spot into futures. So what we would do is we click on these little arrows right here to flip them around. Now you can see that I've reconfigured this to transfer from futures into spot account. So when the time comes, that's how you can transfer from your futures account back into your spot account. And you just follow the same steps here. So I'll just go ahead and close this out. Now that I have some Tether in my futures account, I'm ready to trade on the futures market. So to do that, we'll come right up here to the futures tab. Then we'll come down to the perpetual futures option. Now you'll notice here on the right hand side, you have your USDT margin and your coin margin. The coin margin pairings mean that all profits and losses will be settled in the underlying asset. So for example, if you wanted to trade Bitcoin using the coin margin pairings, you'd have to transfer Bitcoin into your futures account. If you wanted to trade Ethereum using coin margin, you'd have to transfer Ethereum into your futures account. If you want to use the USDT margin pairings, this means all profits and losses will be settled in Tether. So if you want to trade these pairings, you'll have to transfer Tether into your futures account, just like I did earlier in this tutorial. Most of the time, I'll just use the Tether pairings like a lot of traders. But if you're going to be using the coin margin pairings, just remember that all your profits and losses are settled in the underlying asset. So this is best done if you believe in that asset for the long term and you think the value of it's going to increase over time, and if we're generally in a bull market. The Tether pairings are great because once you take your profit, you're settled in a stable coin and you're no longer exposed to the volatility of the underlying asset. And for this reason, most traders will use these pairings. So for this tutorial, I'll demonstrate by using tethers. We'll just go ahead and give that a click. And this brings us into the user interface of the futures market. From here, you can find the different pairings and market types if you just come right up here and hover over this area here. So in my case, where it says BTC versus USDT. Down below, we can find the market types as well as the different pairings. If you want to change the pairing, just simply click on the pairing you wish to trade. So if we wanted Ethereum, we'd click right here. Now, as you can see, I just changed the pairing to Ethereum versus Tether. If I wanted to change it back to Bitcoin, I just come down, click on BTC versus USDT, and now we're back to Bitcoin. Of course, right here, we have our price action chart showing us the asset's performance over a selected time frame. The first thing I like to do here is I like to make sure that I'm set to the trading view chart just by clicking on trading view at the top right hand side. This way, we'll have access to some basic drawing tools and some basic indicators from TradingView. Of course, we can find our drawing tools over here on the left-hand side of the chart, and our time frames are found up here at the top left-hand side. In my case, I'm currently set to a 15, so that means that each one of these candlesticks represents 15 minutes of time. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch us over to a daily chart by clicking right here on the 1-day time frame. And of course, we're now viewing this chart on a daily time frame. If you'd like to find additional time frames, just simply hover over this little arrow here, then select the time frame from this drop-down menu that you wish to view. If you'd like to add an indicator to your chart, you can click on this little icon right here. Then you'll get a pop-up window with some of the basic indicators from TradingView. If there's something specific that you want to add to your chart, you can search for it in the search bar here. So if we wanted relative strength index, we could type in RSI, click on the relative strength index, and when I close this out, you'll see that I added the RSI to the bottom of the chart. If I want to get rid of it, I just click this little X right here. If you want to change the appearance of your chart, just right-click on it, then come down here and click on Settings. In this pop-up window, you can play with the appearance of your chart. And I do like to change a few things myself. So I like to come down here to Appearance, and then I like to get rid of the horizontal and vertical grid lines as they're just not really doing much for my trading style. So I like to click right here, drag the opacity down to 0, do the same thing here with the horizontal lines, and then I like to change the background to a slightly darker color. So we'll come over here, click this little box like so. Then when I click on OK, you can see that I've adjusted the appearance of my chart. Then I like to come down here and grab on this little line and drag it down just a little bit like so. But certainly take some time and get things looking the way that you like it. And what you can do is just simply play around with these settings. So if we right click here and come to settings, at any point, you can always come down here, click on template and click on apply defaults. And as you can see, I've restored the chart back to its original settings. So you can play around with things. If you make a mistake, you don't like the way things are looking, you can always start over by restoring the defaults. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this back to the way I like it, like so. We'll go ahead and make that darker, get rid of these vertical grid lines and the horizontal grid lines. Okay. If you'd like to learn more about the price action chart, I do go into more detail in my Mexc step-by-step beginner tutorial. So I'll leave a link for that video in the description down below for anyone that might find that helpful. When it comes to charting and technical analysis, I prefer to use TradingView directly. And I mention this in all my exchange tutorials because TradingView is free to use. And I'll quickly bring it up on the screen here. Inside TradingView, you have access to more data, more indicators, you can backtest trading strategies, look at different assets, and you can always use TradingView alongside the chart you're looking at inside Mexc. The free version of TradingView works perfectly fine, but it does come with some pop-up ads that some people can find a little bit distracting. So at any point, you can always try one of their paid plans for free for up to 30 days. And this gives people the ability to try things out and see if TradingView is a good fit for them. So what I'll do is I'll leave you a link for TradingView in the description down below. And I also have a step-by-step beginner tutorial on how to set up and use TradingView. So I'm going to leave you a link for that video as well. And you can find all that in the description of this video and in the pinned comment down below. And right next to the chart, we have the order book. And the order book is showing us the price points that market participants have placed their short orders, their long orders, or their take profit levels. For example, on the top side of the order book in red, we have what's known as the asks. So these would be the price points that market participants have placed their short orders or their take profit for their long positions. Down below in green, we have what's known as the bids. And these are the price points that market participants have placed their long orders at, or it's their take profit levels for closing their short positions. In the middle of the order book right here, this price point is known as the mid price. And this is the price that the asset is currently trading at. So all the asks up above will be greater than the mid price, and all the bids down below will be less than the mid price. If a trader comes along and executes a market order, they're matched up with the best available price from this order book, and the trade is executed immediately and viewable down here under market trades. And I'll be covering the different order types in this tutorial. Here inside the market trades panel, we can see all the trades being executed in real time. All the buys are coming in green and all the sells are coming in red. In the price column, we can see the price point that the successful trade was executed at. And over here in quantity, we can see the size of the position that was executed. And over here on the right-hand side is where we'll find our order panel, where we can open positions and close positions by going long or going short. And right above the chart is where you can find your funding rate. And I do like to pay attention to this. At the time we're recording, you can see that there's a negative funding rate of 0.0004%. And you can see that the funding period has approximately 6 hours and 37 minutes remaining. What this negative funding rate means is that any traders holding a short position are paying this funding rate to traders who are holding long positions. If you ever see a positive funding rate, that would mean traders holding long positions are paying the funding rate to traders who are holding a short position. I would consider this funding rate quite low, but if the funding rate gets high, it can sometimes incentivize traders to let go of their positions, and it has the potential to contribute to an inflection point on the market. I never use the funding rate as a standalone indicator, but it's certainly worth paying attention to. You can find your leverage and margin mode right here in the order panel. By default, you can see that this one's currently set to 20x isolated. In my opinion, 20x leverage is an insane amount of leverage. I would suggest using no leverage, or if you're going to use it, use very little. Of course, this video is not financial advice and is intended for educational purposes only. But just keep in mind that yes, leverage can maximize your gains, but it can also very quickly maximize your losses or get you completely liquidated. If we come over here to the price action chart, you can see that even Bitcoin moves incredible amounts in short amounts of time. So in my opinion, high leverage is just completely unnecessary when trading. But whatever you decide to do is between you and your bank account. For me, when it comes to trading, I like to use no leverage or very little leverage. And typically, when I'm using leverage, it's not necessarily to maximize my gains. It's more for freeing up my capital so it's available to be put into other positions. And in some cases, I will use leverage to minimize the funds that I have to deposit onto exchanges when trading. Because always remember, on centralized exchanges, not your keys, not your coins. If anything happens to that exchange, you can lose everything and maybe never see it back. So if you wish to adjust the amount of leverage that you're going to be trading with, we would just click right here on the 20x. Then we can type in the amount of leverage that we wish to use right here, or you can just use this slider bar. And I'm happy to slide that right down to 1x. And then click on confirm. As you can see, leverage changed successfully. And we can see that right here at the top of the order panel. You can find your margin mode right here where it says isolated. And if we give that a click, you'll get a pop-up window here with two margin mode options. Of course, we have isolated and we have cross margin. And Mexc has a brief description of what each one is. In isolated margin mode, a certain amount of margin will be added to the position. If the margin falls below the maintenance level, liquidation will take place and you'll lose that position. Meanwhile, you can choose to add or reduce the margin for the position. So in a nutshell, when you're using isolated margin, whatever you choose to put in that position is used as collateral. So if you got liquidated, you would lose that entire position, but you wouldn't lose everything in your account unless you put everything in your account into that isolated position. If you were to use cross margin, this means that in cross margin mode, margin will be shared across all positions. In the event of liquidation, traders might lose all the margin and positions settled using this asset. So in other words, your entire account balance is used as collateral across all your positions. So if you get liquidated using cross margin, you'll lose your entire account balance. Most traders will just simply stick to isolated margin mode. So simply click on the margin mode you wish to use and then click on confirm. And as you can see, mine remains unchanged because I selected isolated margin mode. Before I demonstrate leverage and the different order types, there is one adjustment that I like to make to the order panel, and it's just a personal preference. You'll see right here under quantity that we're currently quoted in Bitcoin, and I like to change that. So what I like to do is just give that a click. Then you'll get this little pop-up window here, and I like to select USDT. And that's just my personal preference. Of course, use whatever preference makes the most sense for you. So now when I click on confirm, and we come back to the order panel, now you can see that my quantity is quoted in USDT. Let's imagine that I want to open a position using 2x leverage. What I would do is just click right here on 1x. Then in this pop-up window, we'll go ahead and change that to 2x, and then we'll click on confirm. Now let's imagine that I want to put on a position size of 20 tether. I'd come right here to quantity and type in 20 tether. Now you'll notice down here on margin that my collateral for a position size of 20 tether is 9.5 tether. And that's because of the 2x leverage. Now if we were to switch this 2x to 4x like so, we'll go like that, confirm. Now you'll see that the collateral that I need for a 20 tether position is 4.7 tether. And if this position got liquidated, I'd be losing what I put into this position as collateral. So in this case here, I'd lose 4.7 tether if I got liquidated on a position size of 20 tether using 4x leverage. So as you can see, not only can leverage maximize your gains, but it can also free up the remainder of your funds to be deployed into other positions. Just always remember that leverage also maximizes your losses or gets you completely liquidated. So always keep that in mind when considering how much leverage you wish to trade with. Now I'll demonstrate some order types. Now I'll show you how to execute a limit order. And these order types can give you the ability to be a bit strategic by choosing price points that you wish to open long or open short. The first thing we need to do is toggle the order panel over to limit by just simply clicking on limit. Next, we need to choose the amount of leverage that we wish to put into this order. We'll do that by just simply clicking right here. So in my case where it says 4x, and I'm happy just to adjust this rate down to 1x leverage like so. Then we'll click on confirm. Now we're ready to place our order, and I'll demonstrate by going long first. So let's head to the chart. Let's imagine that we think Bitcoin is going to pull back just a little bit further here before ultimately catching a bounce and moving back to the upside. Maybe we believe that Bitcoin's going to pull back somewhere down to this price action right here. So for the purposes of demonstration, I'll go ahead and grab a horizontal here from my drawing tools, and I'll go ahead and put that on the chart, maybe something like this. Good enough for this demonstration. Now we can see a price point correlated to that price action on the y-axis of the chart, coming in at 23,764. And maybe we want to try to place a limit order to go long if Bitcoin gets down to that price point. So we'd come over here to the order panel and we'd type that price point in, 23,764. Next, we need to choose the size of our order. And of course, we can see our available balance right up here, so we'll know exactly what we're working with. So what we could do is come down here and type in a quantity. So if I wanted a position size of 20 tether, I could do something like this. And alternatively, you can use this little slider bar. So if I was to slide this up to 52%, that means I'd be putting 52% of my available balance into this limit order. Once you have this order set up the way that you want it, you just simply come down here and click on open long. Then you'll get an order confirmation pop-up window here confirming the details of your order. We can see my opening price right here, 23,764 as intended. We can see the quantity of the position right here. And we can see the leverage I intend to use is isolated of 1x. Right down here is where you'll be able to find your estimated liquidation price. And in my case here, that's way down at $92. And that's because I'm only using isolated leverage of 1x. A quick tip with this though, the more leverage that you use, the closer your estimated liquidation price is going to be to your order price. As an example, I'll quickly cancel this out and I'll change the leverage here. So let's go something like this. Then I'll click on confirm. Now watch what happens when I go to open this order. Order confirmation pop-up window here, and my estimated liquidation price came up to $11,975. So if my order filled at $23,764 and then price went against me and got down to $11,975, my position would be liquidated and I would lose all the collateral that I put into this position. So as you can see, when I adjusted that to 2x leverage, that made a big difference on my liquidation price. The higher you go, the closer this price is going to be to your order price. If everything in here is what you intended, you could just simply click on confirm. Now I've placed that limit order to go long on the order book. And when we come over here to the chart, we can actually see it on the chart itself right here in this green box. So if Bitcoin was to roll over here and come down to my limit order, this order is going to fill and I'll be opening myself a long position. This order will stay on the order book until it either fills or we manually cancel it. So if at any point you want to cancel this order, you could come right over here and you could click this X inside this little box right here. You can also find the details of this order. If you come down here, right next to open positions, you'll see your open order right here. Just give that a click. And here's where we can see the details of my limit order. We can also cancel it from here by simply coming over here and clicking on revoke. Now, as you can see, I just took that limit order off of the order book. We can also use limit orders to place a short order on the order book as well. So let's head back up here to the chart. And just for fun, let's imagine that we think Bitcoin's going to play out a little bit of a bounce here, but ultimately going to roll over and then move to a lower price level. Maybe we think that's going to happen somewhere just below this price action right here. So for the purposes of demonstration, I'll grab a horizontal from the drawing tools and I'll go ahead and mark out an area, maybe somewhere right in here. Good enough for this demonstration. Now we can see that there's a price point correlated to that horizontal on the y-axis of the chart, coming in at 28,971. So let's head back over here to the order panel and we'll type that into price. Let's go ahead and do 28,971. Now we need to choose the size of our order. For this demonstration, I'll just come down here to quantity and I'll just go 20 tether. Once you get this set up the way that you want it, just simply come down here and click on open short. Then we'll get our order confirmation pop-up window where we can confirm the details of our order. In this particular situation here, you can see that my estimated liquidation price would be 43,340. So if the price of Bitcoin was to increase to 28,971, this order is going to fill and open me short. But if the price of Bitcoin continues to the upside and reaches 43,340, this position will get liquidated and I'll lose all the collateral that I put into this position. If everything in here is what you intended, you just simply come down here and click on confirm. Now we've placed that limit order to go short onto the order book. And if we come up here to the chart, we can see that order on the chart itself. I'll also point out that you can quickly amend your orders as well. To do that, we just grab onto the box right here, and now we can drag it wherever we want it. So let's just imagine we wanted to move it up a bit, maybe somewhere up around here. Drag it up, let it go. We'll get a little note asking us if we wish to make this change. And in this case here, I would just click on OK. Now you can see that I just modified that order up to 29,519. If I wanted to move it down, we just grab onto it. Let's drag it down just below the horizontal, maybe something like this. Now I'll click on OK. And as you can see, I just modified the order to 28,775. So if the price of Bitcoin was to come up to my order price and hit it, this order is going to fill and I'd be opening short. If we want to cancel it, we just come over to this little box, click on this little X. As you can see, I just canceled that limit order to go short. So as you can see, limit orders do give you the ability to be a little bit more strategic by choosing a price point that you wish to long and short. But you do need price action to cooperate. For example, in our long position, maybe price action doesn't get all the way down to our order price. Maybe it comes down to here, reverses and moves to the upside. And of course, we'd miss that trade because price action failed to come down to our limit price and fill our long position. Or maybe price action just rolls over, comes down, fills our order, but then just continues to the downside. And that would obviously put us at a loss immediately. In our shorting scenario, maybe price action was to just roll over from here and move to the downside. Of course, we'd miss that trade because price action failed to come up and fill our limit price to go short up here. Or maybe price action comes up, fills our short order, but then just blasts right through to the upside. And of course, that would put us at a loss. So some basic considerations when choosing if a limit order is going to be appropriate for your particular trade idea. But that's how you can place a limit order. Now I'll show you how to execute a market order. And these order types are nice and simple. They'll execute immediately at the best available price off of the order book. So the first thing we need to do is configure the order panel. So we'll come over to the order panel, we'll toggle it from limit over to market. Now we simply choose the size of our position. We can do so with the slider bar right here, or we can type in a custom amount. For this demonstration, I'll go 20 tether. Now if we're betting on the price to go up, we'd open long, and if you're betting on the price to go down, you'd open short. For this demonstration, I'll just go ahead and open long. Then you'll get an order confirmation pop-up window here. So once again, confirm the details of your order. If it's what you intended, you just simply click on confirm. Now, as you can see, my order filled at the best available price off of the order book. And if we come over here to the chart, we can see it right here inside this green box. We can also find the details of this order if we come down here to open positions and give that a click. And here's where you can find all your open positions. And right over here is where you'll be able to find your unrealized P&L. And as you can see, I'm in a massive profit of 0.0032 USDT. If at any point you want to close this trade, you can come over here and you can choose a price point that you wish to close it at, the quantity of it, and then you'd click on close long. If you want to close the trade right away, you just simply click right here on flash close. Then we'll get a little pop-up window here confirming the details of closing this position. If that's okay with you, you just simply click right here on confirm. And as you can see, I just closed that position. Now I'll show you how you can place a market order and set a take profit and stop loss when opening this position. So what we'll do is we'll come back over here to the order panel and we'll choose the quantity of our position. I'll just do the same thing. I'll do 20 tether. Now what we'll do is we'll come down here and we'll check this box right here, short TPSL. Here's where we can set a take profit and a stop loss while opening this short position. So let's imagine that we want to target a take profit maybe somewhere down here around this pivot point. So for the purposes of demonstration, I'll grab a horizontal from the drawing tools. Let's go ahead and just mark out this area, maybe something like this. Now we can see there's a price point correlating to that area at 20,379. Let's type that into our take profit. So we'll come over here, we'll type that into the take profit box, 20,379. Now let's choose a price point for our stop loss. We'll come over here to the chart. And let's imagine that we want to set our stop loss maybe just above this pivot on the market right here. So I'll go ahead and grab a horizontal here for the purposes of demonstration. Let's go just above this wick, maybe something like this. Now we can see a price point correlating to that horizontal on the y-axis of the chart coming in at 31,202. Let's go ahead and set that into stop loss. So we'll come down here and we'll type that price point in, 31,202. Once you have this set up the way that you want it, you just come down here and click on Open Short. Then we'll get our order confirmation pop-up window. And right here, you can see that once we place this order, our take profit will be set at 20,393 and our stop loss will be set at 31,193. Of course, we can see our estimated liquidation price right here, but in this particular situation, we won't have to worry about that because we have a stop loss set at 31,193. When we're ready to place this trade, we come down here and click on confirm. As you can see, I just immediately opened that short position at the best available price off of the order book. Now, when we come to the chart, we can see our stop loss in this red box right up here, and we can see our take profit in this box down below. And at any point, if we wish to amend our take profit or stop loss, we just come over to the box, grab onto it. Let's go ahead and just move this one up. Maybe we want to move our take profit up here. As you can see, we just updated our take profit to 21,611. Now let's imagine that we wish to amend our stop loss. We just come up to our stop loss on the chart, grab onto the box. Let's just imagine that we want to drag it down, maybe somewhere around in here. Then we'll let go. And as you can see, we just amended our stop loss to 30,223. If at any point you want to cancel those, we just come over and click the little X inside the box. Just like this, we just remove the stop loss. And now we've removed our take profit, just like that. If we want to quickly manually close our position, we could do so by coming up and clicking on this X inside the box. We're getting our order confirmation window here, confirming to close the short position. We can see our estimated P&L right here. So in my case, it'd be a massive profit of 0.002 tether. And if everything looks good here, you just simply click on confirm. Now, as you can see, I just closed that position at the best available price off of the order book. You can also choose to add a take profit and stop loss when placing limit orders as well. So if I come back over here to the order panel, switch it over to limit. Let's just imagine I want to enter at 25,000 to go long. We'll just do 20 tether. Now, as you can see, we can check the box right here, long TPSL. If we're going long, we type in our take profit and stop loss before placing this order. So let's just imagine we're targeting 30,000 for take profit. Let's just imagine we want our stop loss at 24,500. Then we come down here, click on open long. In our confirmation window here, you can see that the take profit will be set at 30,000 and the stop loss will be set at 24,500 if our limit order fills at the price point of 25,000. If we're happy with that, we'd click on confirm. And now we've placed that limit order to go long at 25,000, which we can see in this box right here. And if that order fills, we'll be adding a take profit at 30,000 and a stop loss at 24,500. And we can find the details of that if we come down here next to open positions, click on open order. And over here on the right hand side, we can see the take profit that's going to be set if this position gets filled, as well as the stop loss. If we wanted to cancel the limit order, we come over here, click on revoke, and we've removed it. Lastly, I'll show you how you can set up a stop loss and take profit for a position that's already open. So I'll just quickly come over here to the order panel. I'll toggle from limit to market, and I'll just open a long position here. Let's go 20 tether. We'll come down here, we'll open long, confirm. Now I've opened my long position. From here, if I wish to add a stop loss or take profit, I just come down here to open positions and give that a click. Then right over here under TPSL, we'd click on add. Then we'll get our pop-up window where we can add our take profit as well as our stop loss. So for the purposes of demonstration, let's just imagine that we're targeting 30,000. We'll type that in like so. Now we can see down here what our estimated P&L would be if our take profit gets hit. Now let's go ahead and set up our stop loss. And let's just imagine that we want to set a stop loss at 24,750. Now down below, we can see what our estimated loss would be if our stop loss gets hit. If we're okay with all that, we just simply click on confirm. Now when we come back up to the chart, you can see that we've added our stop loss in this green box here, as well as our take profit in this green box here. You can find your fee level if you just come over here on your order panel underneath your open long button. You'll see at the time of recording that maker fees are currently 0%. So that's if you're placing limit orders onto the order book. And you can see that the taker fee is 0.01%. And that's if you're going to be executing market orders. By the time you're watching this video, these fees could be different. So certainly worthwhile to pay attention to that. You can learn more about the fees if you just come right up here to the top of the screen, hover over information. Then come down here and click on futures details. Then you can find your fees if you come right down here. You can see trading fee for liquidity maker, 0%, so those limit orders again, and trading fee for liquidity taker, 0.01%. And your forced liquidation trading fee will be 0.01% as well. And up above is where you can find more information regarding the futures contracts. And there you have it, your introductory to using the futures market on Mexc Global. If you got some value out of that, don't forget to leave me a like and hit subscribe. Also feel free to check out my other Mexc tutorials, which I've put together for you in a playlist on my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for coming by and checking out this video. Looking forward to seeing you in the next one. And until I do, have yourself a powerful day.